Hi, Gemini, and welcome to your September reading. This is for anybody that has their sun, moon, rising, midheaven, and or their Venus in the sign of Gemini. However, if you happen to find yourself on this video, there is a reason for it, and I do hope you hear what you need at this time. Let's go ahead and jump right into your reading. Coming into the beginning of September, what you can be expecting is the Four of Pentacles, followed by the Eight of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, coming into the middle of the month, second week of September, going into the mid-month, you will be experiencing the World card, followed by the Eight of Swords and the Four of Swords. Okay, and these can be obstacles you can already have experienced in your recent or distant past. Energy is fluid, so just by the time you watch this video, something will have happened or will be about to. Okay, but what you need to focus on for the remainder of September, going into the end of the week, in order to overcome these obstacles, you have the Queen of Swords with the Ten of Swords, followed by the Five of Pentacles, the Nine, and the Two of Pentacles. Okay, the King of Swords is at the bottom of the deck, so you have a divine pair. I also see that you will just be embodying your Geminian energy for the betterment of yourself by the end of September, because what I'm getting with this Four of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Seven of Pentacles is that you guys are so into keeping up with the latest trends. You guys are always very interested in being in the know of everything, right? Kind of being that sponge for information, because you hang out in the streets. You know, your Gemini energy, you like to be social, you like to always be out. What you're working on transforming, because you guys try to be so much in the know, the latest like fashions, clothing styles, just overall appearances, like being up to date with all the new age lingo and the way that technology works, and just the way that you're supposed to work in business, and changing yourself on a personal level, like as it regards your personality, in order to make sure that you fit in. That's what you guys are trying to work on changing for the month of September. Always having the need to fit in. Like, it's okay if you're trying to keep up with the latest information for your own personal growth and development, just to have that integration, because Gemini so readily understand polarity, like the lightness and darkness of something, like the good and bad in people and in the world, right? Sometimes being very underhanded in the way that you work for the betterment of everybody else. It's like you will sacrifice and do something shady as long as it meant that you could make money to provide for your family, or like for you to be able to get something that your wife or your girlfriend or your family siblings may need and or desire, right? So because you guys so readily do that, it's like, okay, at what cost? Like, are you willing to be that underhanded? Are you able to sleep with yourself at night by having to do all that you have been doing? Like, do you feel good within yourself in the way that you view your sense of self-worth, and how you identify on a personal level with yourself, and then how that relates out into society as a whole? I feel like you guys are really going to be working on that for the month of September, but it's met with some I want to say resistance, but like reluctance more so, to take the time to do this work or to make these changes, because that would mean that you would have to cut yourself off from the world. And for a lot of you Geminis, that's not something that you're comfortable with, because that's not how you've been living your life. There are, of course, exceptions to the rule. If you find that you are really more of an introvert than an extrovert, you don't really like being in the know, you try to close yourself off to the world, that might need to be a point of review for you to understand the balance that is necessary in the life. You can't just be a hermit, you know, and stay in extended periods of isolation, because that would be comfortable for you. You know what I'm saying? Find the good in the other and understand when it's necessary to utilize such energies, okay? So I feel like a lot of you guys are going to be really learning that and focusing on that, but having a hard time, of course, if you are more of the extrovert and always have your hand in something, always have to be doing something, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge, of course, with this Four of Swords that is here. Just focus on breathing. There are ways to be social and still make it about yourself. So because the Four of Swords is surrounded by air, I would say take a yoga class where you still kind of have that interaction, but the purpose of being there and going through, what is it called? I think they call it like flow yoga, is really focusing on your breath. So although you're in the room with other people, you're very much focused on where your body is, like, and locating the energetic centers within your body as you move through each movement, okay? So that can be a way that you can still get the best of both worlds, because I do feel like that is important to you coming into the end of September with the Two of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles that is here. As much as you may come to enjoy being by yourself or being able to know just how self-sufficient you are by focusing on certain things and taking your mind away from it, you still enjoy having the space to play and to still do what you naturally are good at doing, you know? Bantering back and forth, having good dialogue with people, just being social and being in the know. But I feel like you're able to take this information and just overall be able to like relay it better, be able to play with the energies better and how to integrate that into your life and how you can show other people to have that balance that I guess that you're searching for or working for. Some of you guys want to put a lot more effort and dedication into your work. A lot of you guys are also just going to be better able to understand limits, right? Your own limits, what you're capable of doing, and like who you're doing it for. You know, by the end of the month, it's just like you better understand what your limitations are, where your morals, where your boundaries like can't be crossed here as well, where you can't cross other people's boundaries, because I do feel like sometimes you do like to push the limit just to see how much you can really get away with. At some point, just be mindful that it can read in a very different way than how you intend it when you're playing with somebody else's emotions. Especially, you may not get the reaction that you kind of hope for, so just be careful when you're trying to play with other people's as far as testing what these boundaries are, if there are any limits. But when it comes to yourself, what you just aren't willing to do, right? You're not willing to sacrifice your morals for. But again, this can be at the end of the month. Now that we have many more planets that are direct, you know, in their right stations, you can see things moving forward. There is a progression to some degree of projects that you have been trying to get off the ground that have been at a halt for a while. It's like during the slow period, the incessant period, right, gestational period of this project, I hope that you guys took the time to see that the universe was not trying to work against you, but more rather try to show you the importance of needing to slow down, because there may have been some things that were being overlooked, right? That you had to take a closer look at and develop more of a strategic plan for, so that things can move forward, okay? So yeah, you may feel like you've had to hit rock bottom, but during the process, I do hope that you were paying attention and grasping in these different seasons what it was that you were supposed to learn to implement into your personality, so that it can then extend out into everything else that you touch and or see, right? So your business, your relationships, social relationships, if not romantic or platonic or familial, and just your career, how everything changes once you've done the work and you are changed, once you have a very consistent or concise plan for how you want things to essentially like function. You're a mutable sign, so you integrate the two signs that precede you, which would be Aries, which is all about initiation, being very action driven, and Taurus, which is more of a receptive energy, where things kind of just fall into place for them by way of kind of having that nonchalance or that indifference. So you might be integrating that into your personality, kind of switching things up a bit. But if you have felt like things have been going against you, and again, you've had to hit rock bottom, it was only for you to be able to come up with a better dedicated plan of action, how you strategically intend to really change the game, because fives are all about transformation and changes in numerology. I'm just hearing like you're wanting to do all the right things for all the right reasons, and not just because you feel obligated to do it, then you feeling like you have to overcompensate in a way in other areas of your life by being flashy or by keeping up with the trends. It's kind of like there's something there on a character level where you do that because you're overcompensating for the lack of something that you feel you didn't get growing up, or that you're not currently getting. So keep that in mind, you guys. Now, as far as relationships are concerned, I'm hearing you matured faster than me, I wasn't ready type of thing. So if you guys are currently on a break, you split up, there's been a breakup, I wouldn't say that it's over. I feel like there's a little bit of unfinished business here. Some of you guys are in your heads and having sleepless nights because you guys aren't necessarily talking right now. But again, all hope is not lost. Somebody's just going to have to make the first move to kind of break the silence. That is what I'm hearing, and really talk about the disconnect, where the disconnect came from, and what you are personally responsible for, like the part that you personally played here, right, in the situation panning out as it did, but not just the part that you played, what you intend to do to bring balance back into the relationship, right, to make it better, to make it stronger, so that you guys can have a closer connection if that's what you so desire. And although there is a man on this front image, it doesn't have to just be the guy watching this video. This can be what the female needs to do, right? Acknowledge the part that she played and what she plans to do to bring balance back into the relationship. So be realistic about whether or not you want a relationship. If you're single, if you find that you have everything that you need, but you kind of feel like you need to have a relationship because other people are in a relationship, so it's more of a I have this but don't need it because I am already fulfilled within myself. Don't feel that pressure to need to meet the expectations of society and make you feel like you need a relationship when you feel like you're really fine by yourself, or you feel like you still have other things that you personally want to work on before getting in a commitment with anybody, right? You deserve that time and space to yourself, so take it if you feel like you need it before venturing out and getting in a relationship with somebody else. I just feel like you have to be very upfront and honest. Don't be underhanded in the month of September, because you guys can just be smooth talkers and very, persuasive in your speech. You very well can be coming into that by the end of the month, but you kind of just say things to say things and not mean it. So you will understand the importance of being straightforward, how much time that saves for you to be able to invest in other things that might be a little bit more important. So, that is something to give to you guys. That is something that the other person might need to work on. Take full advantage of Virgo season, though, and being able to slow down, to be more, I wouldn't say a perfectionist, but to be more organized and analytical about, and logical or rational about what you're thinking and what you're doing, okay? So as far as chakras are concerned, heart chakra is here as well. Your solar Plexus, yes. Your root chakra is here. It's a little underactive as well. Your third eye, crown chakra are here. Always heed your own personal intuition. So you can always make the best decision that really rings true to you. And let me see what else. Throat chakra is here. So get that into balance, but at this time, definitely give me a thumbs up, share this with your friends and family, and do subscribe for more.